Check, check, 1, 2. Checking to see what's going on. Hey, I'm Mike Coppolino. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I found a nice tree to talk to. I'm over in Parachute. I'm at the rest stop. I got 2 hours to rest, so I'm gonna sit here and tell some jokes for a little bit. Be a little Tai Chi out here. Let me get my wires all straightened out. All right. And I'm gonna get amplified now too, so I'm gonna get into real trouble. Oh. All right. So hey everybody, I'm Mike Coppolino. I'm a stand-up comedian. And a big surprise, I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm famous for looking like I smell. Yeah, I look like drugs. All right. I'm gonna tell some jokes. I gotta try them out because I've been on the road. So my schizophrenic roommate has a large collection of samurai swords. Because my rent's $200, and that's what you get for that. Thank you. Yeah. So people keep telling me I live in a bad neighborhood. Yeah, because I live there. Thank you. It's not true, though. I actually live in a bad neighborhood because I built all the houses. And I built all the houses. I didn't follow any rules. I just built them out of bushes. Okay. So some other comedian accused me of being a nihilist. So I said, what are you hoping to accomplish? Like, oh, you got me, I'm a nihilist. What do I do now? I give up? Oh, man. So I'm terrible at relationships. Yeah, all of my ex-girlfriends still like me. That's a dad joke. I actually tell dad jokes because I'm a pro comic. But I have to tell dad jokes to other comics because I'm old. And these comics are young, but they think they're old because they do a lot of drugs. So I tell dad jokes, but I tell imitation dad jokes because I don't have any kids. I was just careful. I just wore condoms in the 90s because I was afraid of AIDS. I'm that old. I'm like a time capsule for stuff. Anyways, all these young comics show up and they wish I was their dad because I'm doing drugs with them. And I just laugh in their faces. I do. I laugh in their faces because I knew if I was their dad, I wouldn't be funny or cool. Yeah, I'd just be worried all the time. Be worried about who my kid is doing drugs with and why doesn't my kid have a business plan. I'm a pretty funny comic because I have business ideas. That's the source of all humor, if you're a comic, because you're a professional failure if you're a comic. Especially if you're good at it. Yeah, but I have business ideas. I actually have mad science ideas because I've been locked in my room for a year and I've just been eating my own brain. So I just became a mad scientist because of COVID. I just was like a scientist that got into a bunch of arguments with other scientists. That's what it took to be a scientist these days, you know? I just read a lot of memes on Facebook and I thought they were scientific journals. I became a scientist. I actually became a rocket scientist. Yeah, because I studied flat earth astronauts. That was funny. Having a flat earth astronaut just launch himself into space in a rocket he built. Can you imagine that? Some guy, wanted to prove the earth was flat, so he built a rocket and launched himself into space, or tried to. It's pretty amazing because, you gotta know rocket science to do that. You can't just believe you could do something hard enough, you know? He strapped a jet engine to a tube and launched himself into space. And he didn't know about atmospheric pressure. And he didn't even know there was no oxygen in space because he didn't believe in space. He's a flat earth astronaut. If he believes there's a flat earth, odds are you don't believe in space. So he just thought there was oxygen in space. And so he built his rocket ship based on that theory. And then his rocket ship crashed because there's such a thing as rocket science. It was inevitable. You know? And it was stupid because, if you're a flat earther, you should just be able to walk into space. If you believe hard enough, you should just be able to find the edge and walk into space. Just build a Jules Verne style paraglider with some pedals on it, bicycle pedals. and just propel yourself over the edge, take some selfies and then come back. Because that's how the flat earth works, if it's a theory, if it's fact. I don't know. Sometimes I think people are stupid and then they get angry because they're telepathic. That's like what I think. But I started becoming a mad scientist. There was nothing else for me to do. I had a whole year of like not doing comedy. So for the whole year, I've just been breeding a dog without any bones in his face. I've just been finding some soft dogs and like getting them all romantic. So I've been breeding a bunch of these soft, boneless dogs so people could just feel sad about how cute it is. It's a great idea. It's a money-making scheme because those people are going to buy those dogs. Especially because I breed them that way. I breed them to like be smiling all the time. It's part of the face structure of not having any bones. They smile all the time and they're happy all the time because they're bred from happy dogs. Because all these soft-faced dogs are really happy. Until the genetics kick in. But I'm just gonna have these people buy these dogs that are wildly expensive and walk around with their dog strollers and their dogs, and it's just gonna be an ice cream cart for empathy. That's what people are gonna buy, because people are gonna stroll up to these dog strollers. Look at this dog. Oh my God, your dog is so cute. Let me give you $19 a month to rescue it from its own genetics, and that's how people will survive. They'll survive on empathy, and they need that, especially if they have money. Yeah. Also going to make a Tide Pod that's edible and able to get out tough stains, because as soon as you do that, that's $1 billion idea. It's billions of dollars, because as soon as you make one laundry detergent that's edible, all laundry detergent has to be edible. It's the truth, because people will start thinking laundry detergent kills kids if it's not, safe, because kids love to smell a laundry detergent, they love to taste it, and they love to eat it. So as soon as I do that, all laundry detergent has to be edible, and I'll win a Nobel Prize. That's a mad science scheme. Yeah. Also, I'm going to make an athlete's foot medication with nicotine in it, because I suffer from athlete's foot, and I need to get addicted to having clean feet. That's a great scheme. It's a great scheme. Yeah. Also, there's a lot of people that buy baby Einstein tapes for their fetuses. I don't know if you know that, but there's a lot of people that think subliminally messaging your fetus will make it smart. And so they attach speakers to the fetus, to the pregnancy. And these kids get bombarded with the smart stuff, like Mozart. It's a great idea, except that they did it in 2003, and now all these kids are investing in the stock market. These kids are just investing in my poverty because they're terrible at the stock market. Yeah. So I'm coming up with a new baby Einstein tape, but it's not going to be baby Einstein tapes. It's just going to be industrial noise metal for fetuses. That's what I'm going to sell it. Industrial noise metal for fetuses, because fetuses have to adapt. And the best way to do that is play them a bunch of Japanese psychedelia in the womb. It's a bunch of Godzilla scores, because those kids are going to get bombarded with that, and they'll grow up in a hurry. They'll be ready for anything, and then when they pop out of the womb, they'll be typists and ready to invest, ready to have business ideas like I have business ideas, because they don't know what the world is like, and then they'll be disappointed with how dystopian it is, but they'll be ready for it. If they listen to my tapes. Yeah. Also, not as a mad science scheme, but as a business idea. I have business ideas also because I'm tired of living on my knees. Yeah, I want to make some dark side Star Wars memorabilia. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's totally illegal. Making a bunch of dark side Star Wars memorabilia, because who are you? You're not Disney. But that's part of my plan. I'm just going to make a bunch of dark side Star Wars memorabilia. It's going to be all counterfeit. It's going to look like authentic Star Wars stuff, but it's just going to be all the severed limbs from Star Wars in bags. Yeah, it's going to be all the severed limbs from Star Wars, because there's a bunch of severed limbs in Star Wars. The most famous one is Luke Skywalker's hand. That's a famous severed limb. I'm going to sell that in a bag for $300. Yeah, so true fans could buy the hand and choke themselves with it because they want to be rebels. Yeah, they want to be rebels. They want to choke themselves with the hand or pleasure themselves with the hand. That's what you get if you're a true Star Wars fan, you know? That's why you're wearing the t-shirts. And people will buy those and they'll brag about it. They'll be like the Bitcoin of Star Wars memorabilia. Until Disney inevitably catches wind of it. Because they will. They'll see all these Luke Skywalker hands cruising all over the internet. And I think, oh, somebody's making money off of us. We gotta, like, give some of that money back. So Disney will just sue me for copyright infringement. Yeah, and then they'll just sue me into existence. That's my business plan. That's a great business plan. Because I don't have to do any work. Just have to make a few hands and sell them. You know? Also, I got to make the packaging really hard to get into because I don't want it to lose any of its resale value or collectability, you know, when people exchange these hands. It's got to be hard to get into because you want it to retain its value. You don't want to, like, you want to be able to wash it off after you're done with it. Yeah, it'll be a great idea. It's a great idea. Also, we like, I don't know. I do live drugs. I don't know if this is safe or anything to talk about. But I don't do like cocaine or heroin or PCP. To me, those drugs are nouns because I'm a comic. And I need drugs that can't be laced with fentanyl. That's why I do live drugs. And that's why I lick toads. Yeah, I lick toads to get high because you can't drizzle fentanyl on a toad and then, you know, lick a toad because you know it's not kicking. Because you don't lick a dead toad. That's how you get poisoned with fentanyl. And I don't want to go to sleep if I'm licking a toad. Like, I want to be tortured by drugs. That's part of my plan. Yeah. Also, it's the only drug I know that can have sex and make more drugs. Yeah, you never visit a dealer ever again unless you consider a toad a dealer. Because you've been licking a bunch of toad. You might think it's a sentient being. Yeah. But what's the worst a toad can do? It can, like, bite you or crap on your face. A dealer could do much worse. That's why you lick the back of the toad. You don't lick the front of the toad because you're not some toad pervert. You don't want to eat a bunch of toad crap while you're, like, licking toads because you're not some shaman. I mean, you gotta have respect for the universe. Ugh, man. Yeah, I actually have done a lot of drugs. I've done acid over 300 times. Not to brag. I am talking to a tree, though. So that's an easy picture to make. Yeah, I've done acid over 300 times this year, and it's March. Actually, it's April. So the joke's on me, April 1st. Yeah, I've done acid over 300 times this year, and acid doesn't affect me. In fact, I'm a real estate agent on acid. I just sell really expensive homes. I have to be on acid to do it. Yeah. But I don't do it for business reasons or like to get ahead in life. I do it for like Buddhist reasons. Yeah. Yeah, I sell all these expensive homes so I can give all my ants and spiders a more successful kitchen to live in. Because that's what you do if you're like on a bunch of acid. You know, if you have to like be in a business. Oh, man. So I should tell some jokes here. I'm going to tell dad jokes, because dad jokes are safe. Kind of. These are classic jokes. So me and my wife have been having trouble with the love life, because that's a cliche. Oh. So she suggested we get in the role playing to spice it up, and I agreed because I'm me. Yeah. Yeah, so now twice a week she pretends to be a waitress in a truck stop, and I pretend to be more attractive. That's a classic joke. Here's another one. So last week I entered a self-deprecation contest because I'm married. I didn't win and I came in first place. Thank you. Thank you. So I failed the drug test. I know, imagine that. I applied for a job. And they made me go to like Denver to pee in a cup. So I did it. Then the lab called me back and said, "Hey, Mr. Coppolino, bad news. You're hired. You got the job. Yeah, when could you start working at Walmart? Thank you. So I'm a comedian, and that's always a laugh. I do my own taxes. I do my own taxes because I'm a comedian. Yeah, the last time I did taxes, I dropped 5 hits of acid to do my taxes. I ended up claiming an astro body as a blind dependent. Yeah, it was 3 deductions. Yeah. Yeah, and sure, I've been audited a few times. I've been audited 3 times by the IRS, but I never really worry about it because I save all my receipts. Yeah. Like the last time I was audited, this tax assessor came up to me and says, "Hey, Mr. Coppolino, I'm glad we found you." Yeah, Mr. Coppolino, we at the IRS have a few questions for you. Because it says here you have 19 sole proprietorships. Now, I don't think you know if that's possible. I don't think it's possible for you to have 19 sole proprietorships. You seem a little irresponsible. Also, Mr. Coppolino, from our records, it says here you have 44 limited liability corporations. And you have a non-profit corporation that's exchanging currency between Malaysia and Greece. Yeah, Mr. Coppolino, down here at the IRS, we want to know how you could possibly exist on $4,000 a year. And then I looked at the tax assessor. I said, well, how do I even know I'm really here right now? And that's how I get out of an audit, by going to jail. I just go to jail whenever I get caught. That's how I get by. I'm like 3 times Wesley Snipes, but, you know, I dress this way for a reason. Oh, man. So, anyone here ever throw up in a car? I mean, we are in a travel park. Anyone here ever throw up in a car? Don't you feel stupid throwing up in a car? I don't. I never feel stupid when I do that. Because whenever I'm throwing up in a car, I'm always throwing up on myself. That's great advice, because that way you won't have to clean your car. You just throw up on your chest so you can keep your eyes on the road. Then you get to your destination because you're a professional. And you step out of your car, and you brush off all the vomit, and you go right to work. Yeah, because you're essential to your job, and you got to make child support payments. That's true, like, genius in some ways, you know? That's what I have to be as a comic. I have to dress this way, and I have to look this way, because comedy doesn't pay anymore. Unless you, like, do coke. Like, if you're a cocaine addict and you do comedy, they pay you in coke. But it's all party coke. It's not real coke, it's just coke cut with a bunch of microchips. So it really burns your nostrils. Yeah. I know some comedians now, they get paid in coke for like 20 years. They gotta clean out their sinuses with mountain climbing rope. It's terrible. Like they actually clean out their 3rd nostril. It's just one big nostril. Yeah, they try to be all like zen about it. Yeah. I actually had a cocaine problem once because I'm talking to a tree now. I had a cocaine problem like 5 years ago because I was like buying into it. They said, "Oh, this is like great for your like productivity." So I did a bunch of coke, and then it got so bad I had to go to an NA meeting because I got caught. Yeah, got caught without any coke. Ended up having to wave my paycheck around almost 3 minutes before I got any coke at this NA meeting. Yeah. Ugh. And then I became the spokesperson for extreme sobriety because I'm a paid actor and I go to high schools and I have to tell kids about the evils of drugs. Like twice a day for like 2 times like a week. I go to this high school and I get led out there on a chain up to like a bunch of the podium in front of all this pep rally by the vice principal, and the vice principal tells these kids that I got caught, and I'm wearing an orange jumpsuit so they know it. Yeah, and then I get up on stage, he jerk me around on this chain, and I tell all these kids I did a bunch of drugs in a hotel room and now I get raped in prison. It scares these kids. Yeah. And I tell these kids that, you know, nitrous oxide kills brain cells. I mean, how would I know? I don't even know where my tank is anymore. I tell kids that marijuana is a gateway drug. Yeah, because I'm a hack comedian. No, I tell kids that I smoke weed because short-term memory loss keeps me from remembering constant failure. That's what I tell them. I actually smoked bath salts for a while. And I used to love bath salts because bath salts were the salad of drugs. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah. But as a precaution, whenever I smoke bath salts, I always make sure to roofie my own drink. Yeah, that way when I get that urge to chop off my dick and jump out a window, I can quit being so impulsive. Just tamps those emotions down while I'm on bath salts. Oh, man. You know, cocaine, heroin, PCP, what are these? These are nouns, right? Yeah. Oh, anyways. I'm running out of string. I've done like 10 minutes here, so it's in a park. I've told a few jokes. People are disturbed by it, and that's all right. So before I go, I should let everyone know that in addition to having a bunch of really great business ideas, I'm also a life coach. I'm a life coach because I'm from California, and everyone's a life coach in California because everyone has to make extra money somehow. And I have a patio, so that's important. Super important, because if you have a patio, you have like slatted light. And when you have a new client or victim, you know, you just sit them down on like a bench underneath this patio cover, and they see the sunlight move through the blinds, the slats in the wood, and I think time is worth money because they see all the shadows move. And it's really great for brainwashing your clients. It is. Yeah. And I'm the best life coach because I know that people are desperate and need to be disappointed. And they need to pay for that. That's part of like the service. So whenever I get a new client or a victim, I always tell my clients, hey, the only thing worse than failure is listening to someone tell you how to be better at it. And then I demand payment. And then they call me a charlatan. And most of them leave, but some of them stay. And then for the rest of the time, I just teach them sarcasm. Because that's how you get through life if you're going to be a good have a good lifestyle. Because eventually somebody's going to disappoint you and you have to cope with it with sarcasm. So, I'm going to give a bit of advice. A bit of advice from my world, you know. First off, anyone here planning on smoking PCP anytime soon? Well, no one ever plans on it. That's like part of like the life coaching. No one ever plans on smoking PCP. But if you do feel the effects of smoking PCP or drinking PCP, just remember to turn off your cell phone. It's super important. That's really important because if you're wandering around King Soopers naked and trying to buy ice with a handful of sticks, you don't need a call from the office to ruin that. That's not your time to set appointments, you know. That's your time. Also, if you're going to smoke crack, do it in a bathtub too shallow to drown in. That's great life coaching advice. And finally, if you're microdosing, just quit wasting my time and give me your drugs. Alright, that's been like a feature set. I've been Mike Coppolino. I do comedy. No, it's like 25 minutes. Jeez, that's a headliner in a stupid club. If I was in a stupid club that wasn't paying me anything, that'd be great. I would have made $60. Anyways, that's it. I'm Mike Coppolino. Have a great day. Thank you. All right. Thank you.